Headphones on, let's do this.
Hey, do you know of a podcast I can listen to that has nerd and comic books and stuff? I really can't find one.
I say, you ever heard of the Nerd Dumb Podcast?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Dome Podcast, episode 262. I am your podcaster without fear, Luke, and today I am joined with
Validity Studios co-founder Classic Chris Hoffman.
And I am the alliterative Andrew, also of the Lady Studios.
no Ryab this week, and we don't think he will appear in Phoenix form either. Work is crushing him down right now, but we will march on. So I wanted to start out. I watched the new Beverly Hills Cop movie, the Axel F from Netflix over the weekend, and I thought it was great. It was it hit all of the nostalgia buttons that it needed to, but also was pretty like just the story was pretty good and it didn't rely on the nostalgia. They did do, and I think it had to be a creative choice, because if you watch the old Beverly Hills Cop, they do a lot of the slowly zooming in while someone's talking, and then it cuts back to the other person and slowly zooms in while they're talking. They did that a couple times, like when they're in the police station, kind of just like taking turns zooming in on whoever was talking. It gave it that kind of older, like, you know, mid to early 80s film vibe to it. I was not expecting Judge Reinhold to be in it, and I was like, I haven't seen Judge Reinhold in 15 years. And I was talking to one of my friends about it, and he was like, the last time I saw Judge Reinhold was in The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think I've seen him since then, but that's still pretty telling. But yeah, it was really good. It was really fun. Eddie Murphy doing his Eddie Murphy thing. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in it as well, and he's always great. They put a beard on him, and I'm like, you still look like a 13-year-old with a beard. That guy's got the youngest face I've ever seen. No matter what they do, he still doesn't look his age. But yeah, it was really good. So I suggest if you were looking for something to watch, or you know, you like the older movies, go ahead and watch it. And they even make a jab at how Beverly Hills Cop 3 wasn't great. They're like, oh, you've been to Beverly Hills 3 times. You were here in, 84. You were here in 86. He was like, you were here in 89. Not your best outing, was it? And I was like, I see what they did there. I think Kevin Bacon's in it as well. So getting all the 80s guys back in there. It's good.
Doesn't it have, isn't Bronson Pinchot in it too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been watching some interviews. I started watching it a little bit over Annalise's shoulder, the movie. And then they were using the laughing frog like in the promos.
Oh yeah.
And so what did he involve into the movie at all, or was
no?
Okay, he was just in the promos.
No, it's just in the promos. Yeah.
Okay.
It was great. It was great. They had a couple SNL actors in there, kind of as like smaller bit parts. One was playing a Beverly Hills realtor. It was, I believe it's Nasim Pedrad. She was in the Aladdin live action movie as well, but she does the fake Hollywood thing so well. And I was like, I could watch a whole like short series about her like fake selling big houses in Hollywood. But it was interesting to see how many different ways they could change the theme song
Hmm.
and use it through the entirety of the movie. It's like, oh, it's slow and sad now. Oh, nope, it's upbeat and good to go. They
In a
just kept,
minor key, right?
yeah. They just kept rolling through it, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. But yeah, so like I said, if you're looking for something to watch, I would check it out. Chris, you went to a thing.
Yeah, Andrew and
This
I actually
weekend.
both went. We went to Ogden Con version 2 here in Utah. So we had uh probably one of the smallest Comic Cons I've ever been to. And so it's Ogden, about an hour north of Salt Lake City. And it was in the basement of a hotel, like it was a Comfort Suites Inn, I believe. And the organizer of the convention is actually the manager of the hotel. And so he gets this space for people, and it was a fantastic little convention. It was so much fun. We had our good friend Evan Black, from creator of the Wasatch Wonders, was there, and he's actually the one who reminded me that it was actually going to be there. The Utah League of Comic Book folks was there, helped out by Eric Strebel, and those folks, there were like 20 tables, maybe something like that. There was 20 tables, and the world's smallest wrestling ring. There was this tiny little.
I did see videos of that, and I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, and it was a wrestling show, and okay, so the wrestling show was great because it's a local promotion. Bunch of guys, Manny Smith, one of the guys that actually follow on Facebook, was there. So it's kind of funny to see somebody like, oh, I know this guy. You know what I mean? That's great. And they would spill out the. So like when I say like it was a small wrestling ring, it was like a quarter size of a regular one. So like fit in your kitchen. Right? It barely has enough room for 2 people in it. And it didn't matter, because what would happen is they would bring the fight out of the ring and integrate the entire show floor, which I don't know if you know this, comics are like the value of comics is based on their like condition. And so like having 2 sweaty dudes wrestling on top of each other into the merch, was enjoyed by half of the people there, not so much by the other half, who were trying to hold on to their merch and didn't want to be touched by the sweaty people. But overall, seemed pretty cool. Evan mentioned that at one point the wrestlers came over to where his table was and were like, "What you got for merchandise here?" And he said, "Well, I got these stickers." And he said, "Give me one of those stickers." And he put it in the dude's hand, and then he used the sticker to hit the other dude with. And he sold it like he had been hit with a steel chair. And so like A for effort, like wrestling and comics are weird because they're the Venn diagram's a circle, right? And so it always seems like 2 great flavors that should go together, but it's always disruptive for the show floor to have like a ring on the floor. So if somebody has the magic formula for putting those 2 together, it would be great. But then there were like 3 or 4 tables that seemed like it was people's personal collections that they were selling. One of them, it was a sweet couple who were selling his collection because they were getting married, and to help pay for the wedding, not because she's like, I don't want comics in the house anymore. At least that's not what they said. Maybe that's what it was. But they were super nice. Got a few comics from there to help out with the nuptials, but some of the best deals that I've found at a Comic-Con. And while I was standing there looking through a box, I was sitting there, I was like, this is really when I want Andrew Malin here, because there's a whole bunch of these that I'm sure I'm scooting past that are a first appearance of somebody, and I would like to pick up. And sure enough, he came in after a while and helped me through a few of those boxes, which was really nice.
Did you find anything?
I did. I found, so I got a first appearance of Metamorpho. It is hashed. It is in and that's why it was in affordable condition, right? But it was
Mhm.
like it's a first appearance and it presents
Sure.
really nicely. And then always on the hunt for some cool Archies. So found some neat Pep comics, some old Jugheads, and there was another guy who was like just clearing out his collection. I'm just like, I'm selling these for $1, and he had a bunch of like Scotty Young variants in
Oh,
those
nice.
sets, and so picked up a bunch of those and just a bunch of readers, and came out with a short box full of comics for around $120 or something like that. So it was really great.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah, I saw the video I saw of the wrestlers at Ogden Con. I'm pretty sure I saw someone oh, that's nice. Um saw someone hit somebody else with a PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I mean, there's a lot of PlayStation 2s. So I was like, sure. But yeah, no, I saw that too, and I was like, is this the same thing? Is it a separate thing? And then as I looked at it more, I was like, no, it's the same thing. But I did hear that it did give the vibes of like an older style Comic-Con, just with like the space and the size and stuff like that.
And who
Yeah.
was there? Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah, it was
bunch-
almost all comic vendors. It was like the old days.
Yeah.
Uh,
bunch of 40-year-old dudes, you know what I mean, who were like, hey, look at this. But it was like, hey, this is great. It distilled everything that I miss about the old Comic Cons into one thing. So yeah, no, it has a bright future. The
Good.
organizer says that they're only using part of the hotel that they have available to them, and so
Mhm.
next year they're going to expand. So we're going to try to make sure we actually have a space there next year and see if we can't make a go of it up there. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm tempted to reach out to the guy and have us put a podcast table
it
in
seems
there. He's
like the
down
time
the
to do
road
it.
from me.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Andrew, what did you think?
It was a lot of fun. It is tied with the smallest cons I've been to. The smallest one I think I ever tabled at was at a hotel in West Valley, and it was a
Mhm.
one-day show. We ended up sitting next to Haster Comics. Give you an idea how long ago this was too. This was a while ago, but it was yeah. So yeah, it was fun. It was like the good old days. I don't mind it at all. I was trying to have a conversation with Evan, only to be interrupted at length by the wrestlers. And it's just like I'm looking at my watch and they're having an argument on camera right next to us while I'm trying to talk about composition and layout. Yeah, so
See, what you should have done is pulled out the folding chair from behind Evan and just bopped him on the head, and then you would have been the hero of the convention.
Andrew Malin with the chair.
yeah, that certainly
Where did he
sounds like
get the
something I would
chair?
do.
Yes.
Listen, if you would have brought Chelsea, she could have done it.
Yeah, off the top
Um,
rope, I'm sure.
Yeah. Off of Chris's shoulders. She just jumps up and backflips or something. That'd be awesome. So also today we got the trailer dropped for the Agatha All Along show on Disney Plus. Andrew, you got to see the trailer, yes?
Yeah, look good. I was going to watch it because I'm a fan of the Agatha character from the Vision and Scarlet Witch, the
Mhm.
WandaVision show, and I saw that Aubrey Plaza's in it, and so it's like, oh, that cinches it. I'll certainly watch it.
Mhm.
I like both those actors.
Yeah. And Chris, you said you didn't get to check it
I
out
did
yet?
watch it. I watched
okay.
it. Yeah, I watched it when you said, "Hey, did you watch it?" I turned it on, and
Oh,
so
okay.
watched it the way that the creators intended, by having half a conversation with you while it was going in the background there. But it looks cool. I'm excited about it. Like
Mm.
magic in the Marvel universe is super fun. I'm holding out hope that in one of these magic movies, Doctor Strange, Agatha, one of these things, that they bring in someone from the Hellstrom TV show. Um, it it's not good. Let me make that very clear that it is not good. But did I like watching it when it was an early only thing you could watch that was a Marvel thing? What I liked after like 3 episodes, and after you realize that none of the characters are likable or that you want to root for them, there got to a storyline that was actually fairly interesting. And so I am holding out hope that we will see the Son of Satan show back up, but I feel like I am the only one.
Like, it's a very niche request, but please.
It is a very, yes, or the caretaker, that version of the caretaker from that show, because I'm a 90s Midnight Suns fanatic. I would love to see any of those characters.
Yeah, hey, they could even from like the more modern Midnight Suns with Nico from Runaways, bring her in. That would be awesome.
Yep,
because they haven't really lumped in their Runaways show into their MCU like full canon. So that'd be a good way. I thought it was pretty cool. Like I'm always for more spooky. I was like, let's get more spooky. They had a little shot with a zombie or a monster or something, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think I like Catherine Hahn is great. She can do everything. From like comedy to drama, and she did great in WandaVision, and I'm interested to see how she gets out of what Scarlet Witch did to her, like fully. Like they kind of touch on it. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be good, and it's coming out at the right time of year, which is smart. It's September going into October. It's going to be perfect for them.
I'm hoping that they can. Well, let me be like the angry comic book person here, the typical angry comic book person. I think that they've strayed too far from the character, because she's supposed to be like this 84-year-old woman that babysits the Fantastic Four's kids. And so I don't know what this version of the character that they're trying to peddle onto us, but comic book purists like myself want, Judi Dench to play her with a bun.
Is Rosemary Harris still alive?
Yeah.
She could do it? Yeah.
If she, even better if she's not. Just put her in the chair, turn on the CG. You know what I mean? The
so,
Disney
Chris,
magic.
As a huge fan of Agatha Harkness, which member of the Salem 7, her children, is your favorite villain?
Oh, God.
Come on, classic George Perez character. Used to work with Nicholas Scratch. Come on, man. You got this.
God. Dr. Octopus.
Nope.
Oh,
you said it with so much confidence, too.
I know. It's like when the Simpsons kids are playing the Bible trivia and they guess Jesus for everything. I have no idea. Mr. Pandemonium. I know he has something to do with Agatha Harkness.
His name is Master Pandemonium, and also no.
Damn it!
Yeah,
I get that wrong every time I go and look at the Marvel Universe handbook. I'm like, it's Mr. No, it's Master Pandemonium.
Yeah, because he's full of demons or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who is it?
Who was the right answer?
No, there's 7 answers. There's
God.
What's your favorite?
And Vacuum and they're whatever. I was just wondering, since I was so enthralled by your performance as a avid fan of Agatha Harkness. I was like, wow, then you obviously know these deep cut characters, right, Chris?
Yeah, and you scratched the surface and you saw all of the fakery there. But is Vacuum an actual vacuum?
So he kind of looks like Purple Rom, and he has this but it's like a suction into his eye slit.
Ugh.
But where does it go when it goes into the eye slit?
He's magic. They're all magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just magics away.
Yeah. George Perez designed them. They look really cool. Yeah. And then I think they killed him off in the Vision and Scarlet Witch mini series from the 80s, the second one. Those are the ones I was buying from the dollar store when I was a kid. That's why I know the Salem 7 are. I mean,
well, now we need to get Andrew a Salem 7 t-shirt that he can wear around and explain it to everyone that goes Salem 7. Like, all right,
Holy
sit
cow.
down.
Yeah, I just looked these guys up. I have no memory of any of these characters.
Is it like the team from the Blood Hunt book?
No, where
The
they look like
Forgiven?
they're ripped out of Dark Souls or Bloodborne
Right,
and thrown into the
right,
Marvel
right.
universe. No, not at all. This looks like an off-brand Jack Kirby set it. They don't look like they coordinated their outfits at all. Or their
He just
theme.
showed up.
They just showed up and they were like, "Oh, I thought we were all going to be like snakes."
I've been
One of
I've
them's
been
a
getting
snake.
One of them is that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mostly snakes, actually.
yes.
I've been getting that exact vibe from I've been reading Immortal Thor, and he's bringing like all of Odin's relatives together, but they're all in like like modern versions of like their original costumes. So the color palette is everywhere. And Angela does not look like she fits in with, like, you see the rest of the Asgardians like, oh, this jolly rainbow group, and then there's Angela and she's got fire and arrows and swords and she looks metal as hell, but I'm like, doesn't really fit with the little rainbow platoon we got going on here with like even Balder and Heimdall, and like they're all in the old classic one. I love it, but
So
it is like when you're
that's the
flipping through the
challenge,
pages, you're
right?
like,
Redesign Angela to look like a Jack Kirby character while
ooh.
still retaining enough to be Angela.
There's your next commission request, Chris.
There you go. You know what my actual next commission request actually became? Someone wants a booster gold,
Okay.
but all over his costume are logos for movies that Chris oh gosh, not Chris Pine,
Pratt.
Evans.
Chris Pratt.
Oh,
Yeah, Pratt was the lead voice on. So logo for the Lego movie,
Mario.
logo for the Super Mario movie. So it looks like those are the things that are sponsoring him.
Strangers with Candy.
Mm-hmm. And then like on his over his cod piece, a picture of his character from the Community, not Community, Parks and Rec, looking like this. So
So a
that's
Chris
that's
Pratt
on the table
booster
right
gold.
now. Yeah, but a booster gold
That's
request. That's yeah.
That's a very like thought out request. Who
Yes,
is
and
like,
he
you know
sent
what?
like
I
a
want
photo.
very specific.
He sent a photoshopped image where he was like, "Could it be kind of like this?" I was like, "You can be exactly like that." Thank you for the reference. This is great. Yeah.
Saved me a bunch of time.
Yes.
That's awesome. But kind of sticking with Marvel, I found this news story that their Marvel is officially I'm doing air quotes, retiring a fan favorite super warrior super mutant for now. So longtime Marvel editor Tom Brevoort has taken over the helm of X-Men, and a byproduct of his earliest edict to the writers is that there are no current plans to use the popular mutant powerhouse Rasputin IV in the From Ashes era, which is the newest era of X-Men. He explained that as the head of the X office during the transition between eras, he's emphasizing straightforward, familiar characters while avoiding those with what he describes as overly complicated backstories. As a product of the Krakoan era, Rasputin IV quickly became a fan favorite New Mutant character, in large part because of her unique origin story. While the character presents a number of dynamic storytelling opportunities, the post-Krakoan relaunch, they are unlikely to happen, at least for the time being. So as official as that gets, I didn't read the Krakoan era as it came out, so I've been reading it now, kind of catching up. And I like the character. It's a cool character, but I know he said he's trying to focus on the here and now storytelling. So no, like even Cable and Bishop are kind of going to get pushed to the sideline a little bit, so they can kind of focus on current timeline storytelling. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. What are your guys' thoughts on that, if any?
For real? Yeah, no, I didn't really read the Krakoan era. I'm only vaguely aware of that character because I saw what I thought was Ileana and was not. I had to look it up. So
Is this the character? This isn't okay. I just for a real quick thing, I looked at Marvel database because my first thought was who, and so looking it up. But does this have something? Does this character have something to do with what Ryan was explaining about Moira?
It's a Moira. Yeah, it's a Moira. Yeah.
Okay. So this seemed like just off the top of my head, out of anything that you could pick to make like an announcement about, you know what I mean? To pick one character to be like, we're not fucking doing this anymore. this is going in the trash. You know what I mean? To make and to tell everybody about it. Don't you dare use this character anymore. And in the public,
it feels like it might be slightly vindictive. You know,
yes.
To who was the guy that was writing the Krakoan era?
It says it's Jonathan Hickman and R.B. Silver, the creators of the character.
So is this just a big fuck you to Jonathan Hickman?
That's what I'm
pretty sure they had a falling out because he kind of left near the end of the Krakoan era. This is how they're gonna get him.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
cool
like.
Character
it's like
design.
Sure, that's the thing. I was with Andrew where I was like, is this Ileana or is it she also kind of looks like, oh my gosh, what's her name? The other New Mutant, the one God.
Andrew's like, yes.
If you describe them, I could help.
The Native American
Moonstar.
Look, the picture that I'm looking at of her, it looks like it could be her, Colossus, and Ileana together in one character. And so then I just assume it's, Amazo or something. Like, why do they have all the powers?
So she has the powers of Colossus, Quentin Quire, Gunther Bane, Kitty Pryde, and Laura Kinney.
Who's Gunther Bane?
Gunther Bane. Let's see. Ooh, this is an older character. I actually didn't. Gunther Bane. Where was he originally from? He first appeared in X-Men #8 in 1964.
What are his
he does
powers?
force fields?
He also was Eunice the Untouchable.
Oh, well, when they changed his name, his last name used to be Uniscone.
Yes. He legally changed it from Angelo Uniscone to Gunther Bane.
If you had said Uniscone, I would have got
it. So she's kind of like a super mutant. But again, the character design is great. I always love I was like, it's the same thing. I was like, it's like Ileana, and like again, I think that's the first like thing that everyone says when they see the character. Like, is that Magic? Why does Magic have Colossus skin? That could be cool. But
she had Colossus armor back in the Sienkiewicz era too, when the Demon Bear was fighting her. It scratched her back, and it was like Colossus armor under her skin.
Right.
And then I forgot about didn't really go anywhere with that.
So another thing, I started watching a new anime over the weekend. It's one that has been suggested to me tons of times. Jujutsu Kaisen. I started watching that. It's kind of follows a lot of the shonen anime tropes. They're sorcerers that fight and exorcise demons that are invading the realm, but that right now they're in the trope that I like, or that I wouldn't say I like it. I recognize it, that it's a trope in the newer animes. Anyone that involves a school, there's always going to be some kind of tournament or some kind of test where they say that the only school that you've ever heard about is now going to face another school that's 20 miles down the road that has done nothing to help these world-ending threats until this tournament. And I understand it's a way to introduce a whole bunch of characters at one time to use them later on in the story. But like Naruto did it, My Hero Academia does it, like feels like every other season. So it's just one of those things where I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, let's get past this. Let's get to the important stuff that happens after this.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've watched I am completely caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, okay.
And so I can tell you on that one, so yes, it is, and the trope at the beginning where he's learning karate by doing something else, like they have him watching like old action movies, and that's how he's learning to like build up his power and stuff like that, the main character. And it does feel like one of those animes where it's like, I'm gonna be the best sorcerer ever, right? It takes a left turn after this tournament that you're talking about, and then it's like, what am I watching?
I heard that, like, especially I heard that season 2 is like,
yes,
you're just like mouth agape, like, what?
Yes,
Like,
you watch the
almost at
movie
every
that
turn.
spans between the two seasons, which becomes partially a sequel, partially a prequel, but really good. Like, it is one
I
of those
like
where
it when they do that. I like it when the movies fit between seasons.
yeah,
I really enjoy that.
it's really good. And then it kind of peters out at the end of season 2, but hopefully it will pick up again in the next season. But it seems goofy, right? Like silly and stuff like that. And then there are gut punches in this show where you're sitting there and you're like, oh, and you sit on your couch and you're like, I don't know what's the next one of this, you know?
I got to the one where I cannot remember the character's name, but he goes home and they have dinner with his mom.
Yes.
And his mom gets like drunk and passes out at the table. I was like, I love this character. The mom, I was like, I love this character. This is great. Hopefully nothing goes, whoa.
If you want the trope of like, hey, why is this side character getting so much screen time suddenly? You know what I mean? Yeah, and then it's time to put up your little shrine. You know what I mean? Like whichever. Yeah, it is. It's a good show. It's really fun to watch. I like it as much as I like Demon Slayer, and I like Demon Slayer a lot. And so I think it's up there with both of those. It's pretty fun.
I was talking to someone about Demon Slayer today, and I was just like, you don't even need to be like, yeah, it helps if you're an anime fan and you're into it, but I was like, just look, you can put it on mute and just watch the animation.
Yeah.
In this show, I was like, that's their budget. Their budget are in these big fight scenes, and they're gorgeous. That's why anytime there's a Demon Slayer movie or something that comes on the big screen, me and my daughter go right away. And we watch that right away because we know, especially on those big IMAX screens, it's gorgeous. I get blown away every single time.
Yeah.
So
it's really good. You can see in Jujutsu Kaisen in season 2 where they had their budget cut, but they do some clever things to get around it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Demon Slayer is from beginning to end, painting every frame.
That's awesome. So I also did some more research in the new Dragon Ball series that's coming out. It's called Daima, I think it is, or Daima. And it was the last thing that Toriyama worked with before he passed away. They've been making it since 2022, and they said like his involvement has been like at a step above any other involvement because it kind of does harken back to original Dragon Ball. So he really wanted to get that feel because they all get turned into small like chibi versions or children. I undetermined yet, but I watched this video and they broke down all of the animators that are working on this are like legends within the anime animators like universe. Like anytime you saw something amazing in like the original Dragon Ball Z, just like something that is just drawn extra well, those guys are involved in it. Same with like the guys near the end of Dragon Ball Super when it just got amazing, and like the Broly movie. All those lead animators are all on this project because it's a big like 40th anniversary love story to the franchise. So they just basically brought in the A team. They brought in the all stars, and I wasn't excited for it because I kind of want more Dragon Ball Super. Like I was like, I need the rest of the story because they keep putting out the story, and I would love to see it on the big screen. But after seeing that, I'm like, okay, and like it being Toriyama's last thing, I'm like, I've got to. And they did something special with this that they don't normally do with animes being adapted from manga, because usually it's like 12 episodes they have done, and then the show starts, and then they have to animate and keep the episodes up to date, so they're trying to keep up with the release schedule. Apparently these guys have been working on it since 2022, and they have something like 40 episodes completely done, which in the anime business, that is unheard of.
That's sitting on a lot of money, is what that is.
Yeah. So when they release it, they're still working on more episodes. So it's going to be a pretty long series, but now they're not under that crunch. And usually when you get that crunch is when you see kind of the drop in some of the animation quality, where they're like, sure, just draw Goku. We got to get this thing out the door. So I'm excited for that coming up. And like, I haven't seen much other than like the little initial trailer for it, but it looks great. Like the animation looks fantastic. And if Toriyama was doing the story, it should make sense, because he at least did that before he forgot about characters. But yeah. Andrew, did you watch the latest episode of The Acolyte?
Yes. Apparently it didn't make that big of an impact on me.
It's also been like an actual week since it came out.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Give me a hint. What happened in it?
It's a lot of discussion on the water island planet between Darth Teeth and
And what's
Osha.
his name takes a bath.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, for reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, apparently I have seen it. So
yeah.
So whatever.
What did you? Yeah, it was just another episode.
Apparently it was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Chris, did you watch it?
No, I did see the pictures of Darth Smiley Face. Darth Teeth.
Darth Teeth is what Ryan calls
Dr.
him.
Teeth. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Nope. I have
Nope. Yeah.
I have not. Tell me what was great about it.
Not much. The actor that plays the Darth Teeth guy, I like him. You know, he's the dude from, was it The Good Place? I think he's doing a good job. And again, I keep saying I love Master Soul, so like the more Master Soul I can get, the better. But it did kind of feel like an in between, like explaining things and like points of view, like, oh, your point of view is wrong, and I guarantee you next episode, because Master Soul figures out that it's not Osha he's traveling with, it's Mai. So he like stuns her and knocks her out. So I bet you we're gonna get the reverse side of what we got in this episode, where Darth Teeth was talking about the Sith and like trying to convert Osha over. We're gonna see the exact same thing, but from the opposite side of the coin, with Master Soul and Mai in this week's episode. And they're gonna flip-flop places, and that's gonna be the whole conflict of the story. Is Osha kind of
is this week the last episode?
I don't know. I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's 8 or 10 episodes, but I think episode 6 was last week, so this week's episode 7. So they might have 2 or 4 more. But I think that's what it's going to be. I think there's going to be the climactic meeting between the sisters who have now shifted sides. And Yeah. I still don't think it's great. I still think great fan film is probably the highest praise for it. That being said, I still watch it every week. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to get Ryan's input on it because I feel like he likes it the most, and he sees a lot of the things that I necessarily don't see that are and puts it in a better light for me. So maybe next week we'll get him for the 2 episodes and see how he feels.
Right. Well, you had today
Mhm.
came out one, and then next one's last one, so it's 8
Okay,
episodes.
so there is 8. All right. All
Mhm.
right. So wrap it up, guys.
Yes.
You got 2 episodes. Time to wrap it up. But I did watch 2 episodes of a show that I am really enjoying, The Boys. I got episode 5 and episode 6 of the newest season of that. Episode 5 is tough emotionally, but also there's a lot of gore in it, and you're like, "Ugh," but it by the end of it, like, they hit you with the feels at the end of The Boys. And then episode 6, the last time, because before episode 6, we got, like, from the actors, like, the warning about the episode coming out. Jack Quaid posted some stuff, and he's like, "Listen, there's a lot that happens in this episode." And the last time they did that was Herogasm from last season. So yeah, so we have about the same. I wouldn't say quite as far as the Herogasm episode, but it involves a sex dungeon and BDSM, and yeah, it's one of those ones where you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, they're going for it. This is awesome. Again, still one of my favorite shows. It's the one that anytime there's a new episode, I stop what I'm doing so I can watch it now. Um, but yeah, so that's my spoiler free, because I know people out there haven't watched it yet, but yeah, it's good. And even I had family come into town this week that they're not comic book people, but they know that I read comics. And we went to dinner last night, and looks over at me and they're like, "Comic books do this kind of stuff?" Like, they love The Boys. And I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "It's not all superheroes and tights, and even when it is superheroes and tights, it's not always Superman. Sometimes it's this." Um and so yeah, it's definitely grabbing, like, non-comic reader fans as well. And no, I've enjoyed it. And I know, Andrew, you're still on the last season, right? Or you finished the last
I
season?
haven't started the new boys yet.
Oh, okay. And then Chris, I can't remember if you said you'd watched it
I'm
or
still one back.
watched.
I gotta watch 3.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But yeah, no, it's great. And when you guys get to this in your watch through, let me know and we'll revisit it, because I'm interested on your takes on it. But do you guys have any comics that you want to talk about? Nothing?
No, I've been very busy preparing for a work project, and
Nice.
so I'm a little behind in my reading.
Ooh.
So.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, this was not much comic
Tough
reading
week?
in my. Yeah, no, it was my mom's end of her chemo and radiation therapy
Oh, okay.
on Monday. So it went really well.
Cool.
She handled it really
Cool.
well. So she had this really nice send off from the radiation place. We took him a bunch of donuts. She knew a bunch of them by first name because went there every day for a month and a half, and got this nice, like I said, send off from everybody. Got to ring the bell and all that stuff. So been trying to take care of lots of doctor stuff for the
awesome.
folks this week, and so just have not had the time I wanted to pick something up. But I
Right.
will look. That just gives me another chance to have a few more of the Blood Hunt comics to come out this week, and I'll make sure that
I went through my hold and there was a bunch of Blood Hunt in there, so we might need to coordinate.
perfect.
Because I did just get Blood Hunt Dracula 2.
Perfect.
Mostly because Daredevil's in it.
Yes.
But I did. I actually, just before we started, I read the Daredevil number 10. Still continuing the Father Matt Murdock storyline, which I'm still not a huge fan of. And I thought we got past fighting all of the sins, but we didn't, because now he's fighting Wilson Fisk and the sin of greed. So that's interesting. And they keep touching on things I want them to elaborate on, because he did die at the end of the Zdarsky run, and then he came back as Father Matt Murdock. And just a issue or two previous, he finally talked to Foggy for the first time, and there's like a huge blow up between them, as you know, you would think when your best friend comes back and doesn't tell you that he's alive. And I was like, I want more of that, less of the, fighting the sins. I was like, let's dive into more of the personal stuff. And then same with Elektra, like they were married before he died, and then he came back, and she's like, oh, hi, my love, and he's like, I'm a priest. No. and there's like confusing emotions versus what they're saying, and I was like, I want to explore that more. I think that would be fun to dive into, instead of just punching goons and fighting amorphous spirits. But it says that it's coming to an end with issue 11, so hopefully we can get into that in the next little story arc. But yeah, it's not great. But I do enjoy it, and the cover was awesome. It's a Romita Jr. cover, which I liked. I did also read Sensational She-Hulk number 9, which has been a delight. Her and Jack of Hearts had a little romantic rendezvous in space, and they came back, and Carol is trying to recruit her to be in the Avengers. And she's kind of like, I kind of feel like they have a room for me until Clint gets back, or until, somebody needs the room. And then they kind of kick me to the side until they need someone to come, punch a hole through something. But like Jack of Hearts is kind of talking her into it. And it's just been such a good, like, again, like the interpersonal relationships between the characters, between She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts has been great. And with and they're still like, Tony Stark doesn't know he's back yet. And they're like kind of hesitant to, She-Hulk's kind of hesitant to tell him. He's like, last time he put you in a prison so you wouldn't blow up. And he's like, it's fine. Tony's different. And she's like, Tony's not different. He's
And
gonna
he
do the
did
same
blow up.
thing. Yeah. But yeah, they like the previous issues, they had that nice space vacation on some resort where he could kind of like let the radiation, or absorb the radiation, so he wouldn't hurt anybody, and he could just wear like a normal clothes instead of his cool little Jack of Hearts suit. But my favorite part, they keep dropping him in these She-Hulk comics, is they have something called the Punch Club, where it's like She-Hulk, Titania, Ben Grimm, like all of those like big powerhouse, but kind of not like, not Captain Marvel level, but just like the strong guys. They get together to blow off steam in an abandoned construction site, and they just, because they know they can punch each other and not hurt each other. So they have like a baby fight club, and they now have t-shirts made that says Punch Club on it.
It doesn't say Baby Fight Club. That has different
No.
implications.
Yeah, very different. I'm pretty sure some guy went to jail for that. But yeah, no, it's been great. I have loved it. I did pick up Feral number 4, which I'm excited to read, but that'll be next week's review. I did get all caught up with all of the English translations of Dragon Ball Super. This one's fun because it's it kind of takes place before the last Dragon Ball movie, Superhero. So you're starting to see kind of tie-ins from like the mainline comic into what the movie is. Yeah, it's been great. It's I love this stuff. I can read Dragon Ball. It's my comfort read. Like whenever I'm just like I need something to read, I'm not feeling great, I'll pick up one of my Dragon Ball mangas and read it. Like you get the same gag jokes that you get in everything in the animation, but again at the end of these they always do show Toriyama's input and like the changing the facial expressions and stuff like that, just to kind of match it more with the style. But yeah, so yeah, that's all I have, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about. Good.
No, I think
Awesome.
I'm good. This has been a fun time.
Awesome. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Guys, let them know where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, Validity Studios. Come and check out. Actually, you know what? In about a week, we are going to have brand new Validity Studios variant covers for most of our comics. So
Awesome.
for Dr. Volt, the Gull, and Ruthless, we're going to have new variant covers for those comics available. Will be at the Layton area Anthro Weekend Utah Anthro convention in about 2 weeks. And so we'll tell you more about that on the next show. So that, because then it'll be the next time after that. I'll be DJing live at that show on Sunday night at 9 p.m. So if you want to come and see, or the Gull will be anyway, like don't tell anybody the secret identities here. You know, we want to keep that intact, you know, but spinning the best hits in the known universe. And yeah, some more books there. And then we have two announcements from a major publisher that has something to do with Validity Studios, but we're still waiting on actually getting those in hand before we make the announcement. So tease.
Awesome.
This is what we call a
Very
cliffhanger.
excited.
Yes.
Gasp. Yeah, that's awesome. And then your Whatnot streams?
Oh yeah, thank you. Whatnot streams Monday night, 7 p.m. Like I said, because this week was a lot of doctor stuff, we cut it short, but we did give away stuff, and so always show up at the beginning of the show. We've got something usually that we're giving away, and that's going to be a lot more with, like I said, having these new variant comics and stuff. We're planning on doing some special remark covers and some signature covers with the original art and stuff like that. So certainly make sure that you get onto Whatnot. It's the easiest name ever to remember, Chris_Hoffman_Validity Studios. So yeah, put that in your bookmarks and check it out.
Yeah.
Easy to find us. I'll make a link on the website so it's easier to click on.
Yeah. Yeah, you brought it up or kind of touched on it, but it made me think, you know what, everyone out there listening, go support your local comic stores. Like,
yeah,
I feel like that's it. Like here in Utah, I think we have a pretty good community with like the local comic shops and stuff like that. They're all good people. But for people outside of Utah, I guarantee you there's one near you. Find them, go in there, check it out. It's better than ordering from Amazon, you know, or you know, just some of the bigger distributors from, you know, New York and LA. Like go check out your local comic shop. You'll make friends.
Vast majority of the comic book stores in the United States are mom and pop shops. It's owned by the people who love comics and bother to get them in your stores and stuff. So actually, if you look at freecomicbookday.com, there is a huge list of all the comic book shops. So you can find, it says there's a find a store near me feature on there. And so you can find a store near you, and then you can find some Google reviews for it and such. And then, support your local LCS for sure, which local is in LCS, but so I just said local comic shop.
He also
Super.
works for the Department of Redundancy Department.
Yes.
But yeah. Chris, do you want to do the Ryan part here?
Oh God, I don't know Ryan. I only know my line.
All right, I'll help you.
Oh God, let me
Hold
think.
on. I'll set you up. Hold on. Thanks everyone for listening. You can check our stuff out at again Validity Studios over at podcastwithoutfear.com for some comic reviews and stuff that I do. And thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe.
You may now exit the dome.
Fuck responsibility.
And I could see the whole time. There's no Hail Hydra this time. So Andrew,
I don't know what I'm supposed to say here.
bye
And
guys.
in the spirit of Ryan, I do it wrong. There we go.
Bye.
Bye.